All right, I want to welcome everyone to our live Saturday morning presentation. I've done this presentation in the past, but we're going to do it again because it's always good to review it. And it's called Proper Sponsoring and Placement Techniques. Now, the image that you see on my screen, and everyone should be able to see my screen. If for some reason you can't, just unmute yourself and let me know. But the image that I have on the screen, we're going to go into a little bit more depth and detail later on in our presentation today, because we want to help new distributors who are either on today's presentation or as you bring new distributors into your Synergy organization. We have a specific sponsoring and placement technique that we recommend to help you optimize the Synergy Worldwide Compensation Plan. And then for existing distributors that have been in Synergy for a long period of time, maybe you have one leg that is your dominant leg. You have a lot of bank volume on that leg. And there's most likely, unless you had someone who really went gangbusters on the opposite leg, you most likely won't use up that bank volume. And so there's a technique to help you maximize your weak leg and at the same time help an active distributor that you personally sponsor, that you can partner with, to be able to help them maximize the growth of their organization, which helps to maximize the compensation plan for them, which then increases your ability to max out your mega match off of them, as well as help them to create more volume in your weaker, lesser leg, which then helps you create a larger basic commission for yourself. So I'll get into this image a little bit later, but what I want to first do is I just want to cover some terminology that is part of Synergy Worldwide. When someone joins Synergy Worldwide, they get a tracking center. And it's called Tracking Center 1. That's basically the hub of your Synergy business. And if you just look at it, that there's two highways that come off of Tracking Center 1. There's a highway that goes to the left, and there's a highway that goes to the right. And as you add distributors to your Synergy organization, you're going to be adding them either to your left highway or your right highway, or what we call your left side or your right side. And then that's where they're going to be permanently located. Wherever you place them, that's where they stay. And then they have two sides to their Synergy organization. When they come in, they get a Tracking Center 1. To their left side of their Tracking Center 1, they can build their organization. To the right side of their Tracking Center 1, they can build their organization. And although they have two sides to their Synergy organization, both of their sides are on the one side of you. So if you've got a person that you sponsored on your left-hand side and they start sponsoring people on their left and right-hand sides, although it's left and right-hand to them, it is all on your left-hand side. Same thing if you'd placed them on the right-hand side. So it's important to understand that, because it's what people usually make the biggest mistake in, which I'll come to in just a little bit. Now, the other thing that we need to understand is what's called CV, or commissionable volume. Synergy operates in 25 different countries. So there's 25 different monetary systems. And because of this, Synergy assigns a CV or a value to every product and product combination across their 25 countries. That way, it doesn't matter what the monetary aspect of it is, a CV has been placed upon that product or product combination. So if a person, like I have some distributors in the UK, I have some customers in the UK. When my distributors in the UK order product, or when my customers in the UK order product, they're ordering in pounds. And then whatever their order is creates CV. Now my customers, that CV goes on my Tracking Center 1 as part of my customer volume. If it's a distributor, then the CV of their order is either in my left leg or my right leg, and then that would be looked at as organizational volume. So the next thing that we have is what we call elite rebates. Last Saturday's presentation was all about how you can create cash flow and residual income in your Synergy business, and cash flow is created through your elite rebates. That is the CV value on your tracking center 1. And once that CV value here in the United States is above 150 CV, then you earn a 25% commission. Up in Canada, once your CV on your tracking center 1 is above 100, then you start earning elite rebates. I think over in Europe, it's set for 200 CV. So each country has a different level that's required on their CV, on their tracking center 1 CV, that once they're above that level, then they can start earning what's called elite rebates, a 25% commission that's paid out on a weekly basis. And that is what creates cash flow, as we talked about. Last Saturday, we talked about how can a person create $500 in cash flow on a monthly basis through their elite rebates. And then basic commissions would be once you get to the end of the month and Synergy is closed off that month, whatever the organizational volume is on your left side and your organizational volume on your right side, they then look at that, and the side that has the least amount of organizational volume is considered to be your weak or lesser leg, and then Synergy pays you a basic commission on that leg. Now, historically, it's never been less than 7%. It's usually higher than 7%. It's usually never above 8%. But for illustration purposes, I always use 7% because it just makes math easy. And I know that historically it's never been less than that. So the key is if you want to get paid basic commissions, then you've got to have activity on both legs or both highways of your Synergy organization. So the left highway or left leg, the right highway, right leg, you've got to have organizational volume on both of those legs if you want to get paid any kind of basic commission. And as distributors, people that you sponsor into Synergy worldwide, we have the ability to earn what are called mega matches. For every person that I've personally sponsored into Synergy worldwide, as long as I'm qualified on my tracking center 1 and they earn a basic commission, I earn a dollar for dollar match on their basic commission. And so it's really important to help your distributors that you personally sponsor understand how to properly sponsor and place people into their Synergy organization. Because if they don't, then they decrease the likelihood of earning basic commissions for themselves, which then decreases your likelihood or the amount that you could earn on mega matches. So proper sponsoring and placement techniques not only benefits you personally in increasing your basic commission or potential for basic commission, but it also then helps your personally sponsored distributors maximize the Synergy compensation plan so that they can maximize their basic commission, which then helps you maximize your mega matches off of their basic commissions. And then the last thing that we have in Synergy Worldwide is what are called leadership bonuses. The nice thing about Synergy Worldwide is that one is if you are properly qualified on your tracking center 1 every month, Synergy will bank the difference between your left and right side. So for example, if the left side was 2,000 CV and the right side was 3,000 CV at the end of the month, then the left side at 2,000 would earn you a 7% elite rebate or $140 in basic, I'm sorry, not a 7% basic commission, which would be like $140. But the difference between the 2,000 and the 3,000, they would take that 1,000 bank volume and then they would bank it for you. So that if the following month your legs reversed, where that left leg that was a weak leg the previous month becomes your strong leg, then they would take out of your bank volume and equalize it so that you would get paid even a higher basic commission because you had bank volume. And once you get to 6,000 CV of volume on your lesser leg, you then get paid what's called leadership bonuses on your strong leg. If your lesser leg is 6,000, that means that your strong leg has got to be 6,000 or more. And then Synergy starts paying you what's called a leadership bonus. That means that as you properly grow your synergy organization through proper sponsoring and placement techniques, you're able to maximize all the compensation components of the Synergy Worldwide organization, their compensation plan. Now, one of the things that we have created for what we call our Synergy family is what's called the 1010 Club. This 1010 Club, I've done presentations on this in the past. This 1010 Club was modeled off of the Eagles program in South Korea. They've been extremely effective in growing a synergy business in South Korea. In fact, if you look at the amount of income that's created by South Korea, it's significantly greater than what's created here in North America. Yet the population base in South Korea is significantly lower than the United States. Why have they been so successful in South Korea? Part of it is the attitude that people have over in South Korea, where they see network marketing as a legitimate business opportunity. They're very entrepreneurial over in South Korea. So people see Synergy Worldwide and network marketing as a way for them to have their own business and be able to do it without having to have a building, be able to do it without having employees. So there's all the benefits of having a business without all the costs of having a business. And over in the Eagles system, when you come in as a distributor, before, they want you to get your 10 customers. Those 10 customers that they get over in South Korea, that creates cash flow for that person's business. Well, that's what we tried to create in the 1010 Club. The first 10 of the 1010 Club is build your synergy business to at least 10 customer orders on a monthly basis. Again, last week we looked at, cash flow. Your customers create CV that goes onto your tracking center one. Once that CV is above 150, you start earning elite rebates, cash flow. We're going to begin to look a little bit, we're going to come to part of this presentation where we're going to be looking at what does this look like in terms of organizational structure. The second 10 of the 1010 Club represents those people that you've personally sponsored into Synergy Worldwide. And as I shared last week, we want active distributors. I can sponsor a lot of people in the Synergy Worldwide, but if they're not active, I'm wasting my time. It would be better served if instead of them being distributors who are not active, that they would just be happy customers, product users. Because as product users, I'm going to earn at least a 25% commission off of them. But if I sponsor someone just because I want to have distributors and disregard the fact that I need active distributors, people who are actually going to go and build a synergy business. Well, if I take a customer who shows maybe an inkling towards wanting to be a distributor, but not quite sure, or I try and convince a customer to be a distributor, the only benefit I get from that is a $25 fast start bonus, or maybe a $50 fast start bonus, depending upon what their activation order is. But if they don't do anything, and I place them in my weak leg, the most that I could earn off of whatever they would do is 7%. And if all they're doing is just getting their monthly product from Synergy Worldwide without creating any kind of customer base to their organization, then I've taken that, what they would have gotten as a customer, whatever that order is, let's say that order is 150 CV. Well, instead of earning 150 CV times 25%, earning $37.50, at the most 150 CV times 0.07, I would earn $10.50. Why, from a business standpoint, would I want to lower $37.50 in elite rebates down to $10.50 if they're in my weak leg? And if they're in my strong leg, I would earn, if I'm not above 6,000 CV of volume in my strong leg, I would earn 0. So you have to understand proper sponsoring and placement techniques as we want to place active distributors in your synergy organization. And if they don't want to go to work and they don't want to build their synergy business, which means building a customer base so that they can create cash flow to their tracking center one, just help them stay happy product users, because you're going to then better compensate yourself through elite rebates than through basic commissions and maybe no basic commission. Plus, you won't get any mega matches off of them because they're not building anything. So here's the common mistake that a lot of people make when they come into Synergy Worldwide, is that they only focus on one side of their organization. Now, in this case, I'm showing that they focused on their right side. They could focus on their left side. Everyone that they bring in, they place to the outside right of the person at the bottom of their leg. And if you just keep sponsoring everyone to the outside of your right leg, or if you sponsor everyone to the outside of your left leg, and your opposite leg has no activity on it, there is absolutely no potential for basic commissions, absolutely no potential for leadership bonuses. And if those people that you sponsor repeat that same mistake, then there's absolutely no potential for mega matches. And this is the common problem that most people make, is that they only focus on one side of their organization. They think that if they can create a strong leg, they're going to be highly successful in Synergy Worldwide. No, you want to create two legs. And if one leg takes off and becomes your strong dominant leg, then we have a sponsoring and placement technique to switch to again strengthen your weak leg, and to strengthen a person that you've personally sponsored in your weak leg, who is actually going to work, who's actually an active distributor that you can partner with to help them maximize for themselves the synergy compensation plan, which then benefits you in higher organizational value on your lesser leg, which increases your basic commission. And if you're helping them again build their synergy organization as successfully as possible, that helps them increase their basic commission off of their lesser leg, which then increases your mega match. So the key is proper sponsoring and placement, where you're placing people on both your left and right hand sides of your organization. And if you teach proper sponsoring and placement techniques for yourself and to all your active distributors, then you create the potential for maximizing elite rebates, maximizing basic commissions, maximizing mega matches, and maximizing leadership bonuses. So let me switch over to this graphic. I'll give you a link to it on Tuesday. It's in the Synergy Worldwide, or it's in our Synergy family website. And then next Saturday, I'm going to be showing you what I would recommend as your 6 steps that you would personally do to strengthen your synergy business, as well as if you have a new person who comes in and wants to be an active distributor, what are the 6 steps that they should go through to help them begin the process of maximizing their activity in their synergy business, so that they can maximize their potential for cash flow through elite rebates and maximize their potential through proper sponsoring and placement to maximize basic commission, mega matches, and the potential for leadership bonuses. So this graphic that we created, and let me blow it up just a little bit more if I can, there's a button for it. So let's look at a new distributor. Basically, we want that person to sponsor their first person on their outside left, sponsor the next person on their outside right, and then sponsor the third person on the outside of their weak leg, whatever that might be at that time. And then once they've got their first 3 in place, it's basically always working in groups of 3. And once, when a new distributor comes in, they don't have anything on their left or right hand sides. So if they wanted to sponsor their first person on their right side, they could do that. Then the second person would go on their left side, and then the third person would go on the outside of their weak leg. And then once their first 3 people are in place, then they want to follow a guideline where they're sponsoring the next 3 people outside weak leg, outside strong leg, outside weak leg. And what are we doing in that process is we're trying to make sure that the weak leg has a chance to stay equal to the strong leg. And they could be flipping back and forth. You know, it doesn't say left leg, left leg. It says weak leg, strong leg, weak leg. So when a person's ready to sponsor someone, they can go into their Synergy back office and they can see at that time, what is their weak leg? What is their strong leg? And then they can go in and find out who is the person at the bottom of their strong leg. And then they would place them on the outside of that leg. Everything is always on the outside. That way you can continue to both benefit people in your organization by placing people on the outside of their legs. And then again, if they're using this proper sponsoring and placement technique, that if I've placed someone at the bottom of my leg on the outside of their, let's just give an example. I place a person on the outside of their left leg. They're on my left side, and I place the person, my new person I've sponsored, on the outside of their left leg. Maybe that volume then causes that leg to be, at that time, their strong leg in volume. And if they, you know, the person I placed underneath that individual, if they sponsor someone, they can go in and see, okay, my right side is my weak leg. I'm going to put my first person on my weak leg, and then I'll put my second person on my strong leg, and back and forth. So my suggestion to you is that you work with your distributors, that as they are actively bringing new people into Synergy Worldwide as distributors, you actively work with them so that you can help them properly place people in their organization to strengthen their Synergy business, to help them maximize their compensation plan, which then helps you maximize your compensation plan. Now, for existing distributors, I'll come back to this in just a little bit, but let's go back to my presentation. So this is just an example. And this doesn't look at, you know, you actively bringing 10 distributors into your Synergy organization. In this example that I'm giving you, you've actively brought 3 active distributors that you've personally sponsored into your Synergy organization. You put the first person on the outside of your left leg, you put the second person on the outside of your right leg, and then the third person, right leg was my weak leg. I put the second person on the outside of my weak leg. And so you can see that when I initially put people in, that's how it came about. And then the people that I've sponsored, they're active distributors, and they're beginning to sponsor people. And just so you can begin to understand what the potential has for creating commissions for yourselves, I'm going to give you 2 examples. I'm going to give you the example of what we use in the 10-10 Club. We want 10 customer orders, and hopefully the average for those 10 customer orders, each order's average is 150 CV. So if I built my customer base to 10 monthly orders, and the average monthly order is 150 CV, I've created 1,500 CV on my Tracking Center 1. And again, how are in the United States commissions paid out? Well, I've got to subtract the threshold, which is 150. So that leaves me with 1,350 CV above the threshold. I get a 25% return on that called Elite Rebate. So I earn $337.50 in Elite Rebates. Now, if I'm helping all my personally sponsored active distributors that are the TC1s, and if they're helping the people that they sponsor be active distributors, building their customer base to 10 customer orders on a monthly basis, then they're creating what's called organizational volume. How much organizational volume? Well, again, in this case, it would be 825 CV of organizational volume. If I've got 4 active distributors, one that I personally sponsored on my left side, but the other 3 are active distributors and have built it, and they've created organizational volume of 825 CV, well, I take 4 times that, which creates 3,300 CV of organizational volume. My right side has 5 active distributors. And those 5 active distributors, again, have created 825 CV of organizational volume. So my right side has 4,125 CV on my right-hand side. End of the month, the side that has the least amount of volume, organizational volume, is my lesser leg, which in this case would be my right side. So I've got 3,300 CV at a 7% return for basic commission. I earned $231 in basic commissions. Well, if I've got personally sponsored distributors who have added people to both sides of their organization, and these red dots are people that they've sponsored, that they've helped, and they've helped their distributors build their synergy business to 10 monthly orders at 825 CV basic commission, it's $61.25. And the nice thing about mega matches is it doesn't matter where they are in my synergy organization. They can be my left side, my right side. They can be my weak leg, my strong leg, my lesser leg, my strong leg. They can be 1 generation from me. They could be 1,000, 2,000 generations away. It doesn't matter. If a person that I've personally sponsored has volume on their weak leg and they earn a basic commission, then I mega match that. So if I've got 3 people that I've sponsored and they each are earning $61.25 in basic commissions, then what I've earned is $183.75 in mega matches. So I've got my elite rebates for the month, $337.50. I've got basic commissions of $231. I've got $183.75 in mega matches. Now, last week, I showed you one of the key questions that you should ask your active distributors is how much cash flow do you want to make on a monthly basis? Now, if a person says, well, gosh, I want to make $10,000 a month of cash flow, well, that's not going to be realistic when you start your synergy business. So you need to help them understand the process. Most people want to make somewhere between $300 to $500 in cash flow on a monthly basis. If they could do that, they would see their synergy business to be of value to them and their family. Well, last week we showed you what would happen with $500 in cash flow. What's the formula? Whatever the amount that they want to earn, you multiply it by 4 and add 150. So in this case, if I want to earn $500 in cash flow on a monthly basis through elite rebates, I multiply the 150 times 4, which is 2,000, and add 150 CV. Why do we add the 150? Because that's the threshold. End of the month, you know, the elite rebates are paid out on a weekly basis, but end of the month, I finish out the month with 2,150 CV. I subtract that threshold of 150. I'm left with 2,000 CV. I got paid a 25% rebate. I earned through the course of that month $500 in elite rebates. And again, from an organizational volume standpoint, it would be 2,150 minus the 150. I'm left with 2,000 CV. The way organizational volume works is 50% of that is paid out in organizational volume. So I take 50% of that, which is 1,000. Synergy adds back the threshold of 150. So each person who's earning $500 in cash flow through their customer base represents 1,150 CV of organizational volume. So using the same situation, you can see that my basic commissions have increased to $322, and my mega matches have increased to $241.50. You can see my left side volume is now above 4,500. My right side volume is almost 6,000. But my left side volume, I'm now at the gold rank. And one of the things that we try and help people understand is that set your goal to get to the gold level, and then teach everyone that you personally sponsor and everyone that they personally sponsor to get to the gold level. And if you just do that, one, people can see the gold level as something doable. It's going to create work. You got to have a plan, and you got to implement your plan. But if you implement your plan and do it properly and do it over time, you're going to get to the gold level. You can help the people that you sponsor, the active distributors, get to the gold level. If you do that, that process will give you the ability for all the rest of the rank advancements in Synergy Worldwide. So you don't need to worry about all the other rank advancements if you only focus on yourself personally getting to the gold level, and then all of your active distributors helping them put in place a marketing strategy, a plan of action to help them get to the gold level. Then that will create the additional rank advancements for yourself personally as well as for them. Now, you come to the end of the month, I've got $500 in elite rebates through my customer base. I've got $322 in basic commissions. I've got $141.50 in mega matches. It's created for me $1,063.50 in residual income. Now, that's not yet financial independence, but what it is it's a duplicating process that if you teach your active distributors proper sponsoring and placement techniques and help them create their customer base, the two key components that we talk about in the 1010 Club, then you have the ability to grow an active synergy organization with active distributors that can create for yourself financial independence. Now, the last thing I want to go over before we open this up for any questions that you might have is I want to come back to this chart. If I'm an existing distributor, I've been in Synergy Worldwide for a long period of time, and I didn't know anything about proper sponsoring and placement techniques, and I made a bunch of mistakes by placing people all on the outside of one of my legs. And I've got a leg that is, dominant every month, keeps adding bank volume because I'm qualified on my tracking center 1. What am I going to do? How can I strengthen my lesser leg so that I can improve my ability to increase the amount of money that I'm getting from Synergy Worldwide through their compensation plan? So the suggestion that we have for existing distributors would that you find an active distributor, ideally someone that you've personally sponsored, on your lesser leg. And then what you say to that person, let's partner together. So that people that I bring in the Synergy Worldwide and people that you bring in the Synergy Worldwide, let's actively work together, and then I'll sponsor the people I bring into Synergy Worldwide underneath you to help you build your Synergy business, to help you strengthen your Synergy business. And so if I've got a person ready to join Synergy Worldwide, where do I want to place them? I want to place that person on the outside of their weak leg. And then they have a person that they bring in the Synergy Worldwide, where do they want to place them? On the outside of their strong leg. And when that third person comes in, whether it be I or the other person, where do we place them? Outside of the weak leg of that distributor that you're actively working with. And if you do that process, you're going to help that distributor grows his or her synergy organization faster, especially if you're putting active distributors in. That's going to create more organizational value in your lesser leg. So that's going to increase your basic commissions. It's going to increase the basic commissions of the person that you're working with, which if it increases their basic commissions, then increases your mega match. And if you're sponsoring people and they're sponsoring people and you're all working together, you're helping everyone underneath them strengthen their synergy organization. We're all working together to help strengthen that person's synergy organization. So everyone that's brought in has the opportunity to see two active synergy distributors helping them grow the outsides of their organizations so that they, if they're actively building their synergy business, they can then use proper sponsoring and placement techniques on this other side as a new distributor to know where they should place the people that they bring into synergy worldwide, either on their outside weak leg or outside strong leg. Again, it's a sponsoring and placement technique that is designed to strengthen both legs in your synergy organization. And if one leg takes off, how can you go into your lesser leg and work with an active distributor that you've personally sponsored to help them grow their synergy business even faster, which strengthens your lesser leg in organizational volume and helps you to better maximize your potential for all components of the residual income part of the synergy compensation plan. Now, with that said, do I have any questions with regards to material that I've shared with you today? You're all muted, so you'll have to unmute yourself for me to be able to take your question. I don't want to unmute everyone because we'll have too much background noise.
Hey, Dan, thanks for doing all this work. This is David.
Yes, David.
I do have a couple of people that came in recently, and this is a great video I'm going to share with them because you've done all the work in explaining it. So it's a great refresher, and it's certainly something I'm going to forward so that you know they can use this strategy, and of course I can use it myself. So I appreciate your work on it. It's you know, it's something to go over again. I could see myself wanting to do this in Spanish so that I could, you know, share it with my my Spanish distributors. But certainly the ones I brought on board lately have been English speaking. So this is going to be a valuable tool.
Great, David. And this is also part of one of the steps I'm going to show next week. You know, the main thing I want to concentrate on next week is I want everyone to understand the 6 key steps that every active distributor needs to be doing. And if you've not done one of those steps, you need to go back and get it in place. And then the other thing I'm going to concentrate on next Saturday is everything is about marketing. And that's one of the steps. So I'm going to be showing, and I'm going to spend most of my time next week. You know, first I'll outline what the 6 steps are. This is one of them. There's no sense repeating this. We already have today's presentation. You know, it's being recorded. You know, all this information I've shared will be in the recording as well as a link to this PDF. You know, you can, David, you can easily take this PDF and you can convert it to Spanish for any Hispanic distributors that you bring in, and they would prefer the material to be in their native language. But irregardless whether it's English or Spanish, again, it'll be there. It's one of the steps. As you talked about, they can watch the video. Once they've watched the video, you can then help them understand, I'm going to work with you on proper sponsoring placement techniques, so let's go to work. But if they don't put in place a marketing strategy to gain their customer base, then
Won't work.
You know, it won't work. You
Right.
got it. You know, and on the 24th, you're going to do straight line selling, right?
Right, Dan, and the straight line selling is just about using proper, let's say, techniques to save time when you're in front of clients and prospects, and talking with them, and just a few simple strategies to be able to maximize the time you spend not only with them, but in a case there where you see it's no value to spend time with people that maybe are not the right fit for what you're trying to offer, move on and maximize your time to talk to more people in a shorter amount of time than spending too much time with certain people that may not be the ones you're really looking for. So I'm going to have fun with that, and hope it's really helpful.
And so, David, I have a question because I have not seen your presentation, but my question to you is this: is straight line selling helping you increase your probability of success?
Absolutely, Dan, because when you go in with the right mindset and you know the proper steps to follow when you're talking to a prospect for the first time, especially, you will know in a very short amount of time by applying these techniques whether you want to spend a lot of time with them or not, whether it's worthwhile, whether it be a distributor, a potential distributor, or a client that really needs to know about, in my case, nitric oxide therapy. So absolutely, it's really helped me and it saved me time, and that's why I want to share it.
And I have one final question for you, David. So that process that you're talking about helps you make a decision whether that person who might talk about wanting to be a distributor actually know whether that person would be an active distributor. And if they're not going to be an active distributor, just keep them as a happy product user.
Yes, it'll show you in a very short time if they are in fact in the right mindset or the kind of person that you really desire to work with as a distributor in the future, or if, as you say, they're going to be a happy product user, or maybe they need to be a happy product user and later on segue them into becoming a distributor. So it helps you put tools in place that will help you and help them be more successful.
Great. Thank you, David.
Sure. Thank you.
Anyone else with any other comments, questions before we close off today's call? All right. Well, then I want to thank you for your time this morning. Looking forward to what we're going to share next week. And then I'm looking definitely forward to David's presentation on the 24th.